crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I am here with a new size of One Sheet Wonder. So this is still going to make an A2 size card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, my most common size of card. But recently I picked up some 6 by 8 paper pads, and I've done paper pad tutorials with them before, and I'll try to link a few or link whatever I have in the video description. But I thought it might be fun to actually make some One Sheet Wonders for these, so that if you were just looking to use up a few sheets, you would have a bunch of ideas. And then of course you could, after I've shared a few of them, you could use up the whole piece of, or the whole pad of pattern paper. So for today's, I noticed a lot of the 6 by 8s that are available also come with these 3 by 4 cut aparts. And so I wanted to figure out a way to incorporate that. So my One Sheet Wonder suggests cutting a 6 by 8 paper to 2 pieces of 3 by 4 and then 4 pieces of 1 1/2 by 4. And don't worry about the measurements. It's all on the blog. You can PDF download and there'll be pictures of the templates, etc. But if you want to use those 3 by 4 cut aparts, you probably don't want to be cutting the other 2 cut aparts into the strips that you need. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to use 2 pieces of paper, and 1 piece of paper I'm going to cut just to the 3 by 4 sizes, and then the other piece of paper I'm going to cut all of the 1 1/2 by 4s. So it's a little bit of a different way of doing a One Sheet Wonder, but you can always do this if the design that I'm sharing uses like just half a sheet of paper. So like with a 6 by 6 design, sometimes I'm using like a 3 by 6 chunk for one thing and the other 3 by 6 chunk for something else. And so it works out. Hopefully that was pretty clear. And if not, the template will make it a little bit more clear. But all the 3 by 4s out of one sheet and all the 1 1/2 by 4s out of another sheet, still no scraps. And if you don't have cut aparts or you don't want to do it this way, the One Sheet Wonder still works as proposed with just one sheet. Okay, so this is the Simple Stories Halloween paper pad of the year that I cannot remember the name of right now. I'm sorry, guys. All the supplies will be in the video description, but there are like no supplies for this. It's mostly pattern paper and your trimmer. However, some of the sayings on the 3 by 4 cards were not for me. These ones mostly do work, like hey pumpkin, hey boo, happy haunting, all totally fine. There's one that says you put a spell on me, I think, and I am going to show you how I cover that up and like make the journaling card still work for me. As with most of my One Sheet Wonders, whether it be 6 by 6, 6 by 8, 12 by 12, Slimline, A2, because they're all here on the channel. If you are looking for any size of card or paper that is standard in America, I can probably help you out. I'm sorry, I don't have really a lot of access to European sizes. But anyway, I usually make my mats a 1/4 inch bigger because I find that the measurements are really easy to do and I can get things looking even. When I go smaller, it gets a little bit tricky for me. So I have 4 1/4 by 1 3/4 inch mats for those strips, and then 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 mat here for the 3 by 4 cut aparts. And I did choose orange because it worked for all the cut aparts. None of the cut aparts had an orange background. So with Halloween paper, it can be a little bit tricky because, like, as you see, that ghost one has a black background. So if I did black as my matte color, that could be problematic there. So I like to have certainly a lot of orange and black on hand for Halloween, but if you can find it, some good greens work out well, and some purples. Purple is one of my favorite colors to use at Halloween, but I find it's like more popular at Halloween, but still not that popular. Purple cardstock always seems to be pretty tricky to find. So if you have a favorite purple cardstock, let me know. Anyway, as I put this together, when I put the 3 by 4 cut apart over top of these 2 strips, because the strips go on the top and bottom lined up with the edges of the card. If I were to glue down that 3 by 4 cut apart, it would not be flat and even with those strips on the top. So I just took a random piece of scrap cardstock and I taped it underneath the 3 by 4 cut apart to prop it up a bit. Okay, so here I want to cover this sentiment. I'm going to go into my collection, find a banner die that will cover the sentiment, cut it out. of orange cardstock because that's what I've been using for everything else. I'm going to take my template here. This I share in a video about how to save time with sentiments, but basically I've die cut some of my favorite banner dies, and then I put painter's tape behind it so that the sticky side is what is facing up in my MISTI right now. And that means that it will hold it still as I choose to stamp this down, and I can do multiples. So if I want to stamp the same sentiment over and over again, I can just place this die down, at least already die cut out. Whereas if I were using my MISTI and it wasn't already die cut out, it would maybe shift, or it would be really hard to put down with the magnets and everything. So I find this template really helpful. And I'll try to remember to link the video that shows a little bit more about it, but it's a pretty simple thing and I use it all the time. All right, so I took a sentiment from an MFT Itty Bitty Booze, I think is what it's called, and it has like a lot of really small general sentiments for Halloween. So it says a Halloween hello, and I will place that to cover the sentiment, and that will finish off that card, and I'll have a set of 4 cards for my video today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in more crafting tutorials, be sure to subscribe to my channel. As I mentioned, I share all kinds of one-sheet wonders, so if you love pattern paper, this is the place for you. And I will leave you links to all the products mentioned in the video description below, as well as my blog where you can get the templates. And here are 2 more videos for inspiration. Thank you so much for joining me, and have an awesome day.